It's Donald Harrigan with the National Weather Service here in Tallahassee, and we'll be doing our afternoon webinar on Invest 90L. Here's the current satellite imagery out across the tropical Atlantic. The area that we're discussing right now is off the coast of the Yucatan. Right down, they're taking the storms and convection off to the northeast of the system, so it looks kind of elongated out here in the western Caribbean. Showers and thunderstorms that you see today, tomorrow, and even on the first part of Saturday are not going to be associated with the system. It's still well down to the south. And it doesn't even have a close blow with it right now. It's just an area of disturbed weather that is expected to become more organized as it moves into the Gulf of Mexico. So the current forecast for Invest 90L is for it to move into the Gulf of Mexico on Friday night, reaching the Gulf Coast by Sunday night. We could feel impacts as early as Saturday night, ranging from heavy rain to the onset of some higher than normal tides. The slow storm movement after that nears and after it makes landfall will bring a heavy rain potential across the entire southeast and across much of our area, which we'll discuss in a minute. So the potential for flash flooding, although we have an isolated potential over the next several days, really increases as we head towards Sunday into Monday with the approach of the potential tropical system. The Hurricane Center has beefed up the chances of tropical development to 90%. The X represents the current position of the storm, or the area of thunderstorms right now. In the swath here is where we would expect development to occur. So this isn't a track. It doesn't really talk about motion. This is just the general area where we're going to expect development to occur. And there's a really high chance of it now, virtually 100% as it enters the Gulf of Mexico. The main threat with the system at this point will be heavy rain. Widespread 5 inches. We're looking at 5 to 7 inches, with the lesser amounts being out in the Swanee Valley and the highest amounts being further west in the Panhandle. Obviously, we can get higher amounts depending on if storms set up and train from north to south. A lot of this is still uncertain. One of the things we're looking at is the potential for some dry air to move in on the eastern side of the system as it moves northwest. And if that happens, it could reduce our amounts even. So right now we're just going to stick with the average 5 to 7 inch amounts, but just know that there's the potential for that to go up and both down as the system evolves and moves closer to us. There is a coastal flooding potential. It's minor, especially along the eastern Big Bend coast and down on Gulf County. The highest threat will be in Wakulla and Franklin County, where we're looking at some water over flood-prone coastal roads, maybe down into Apalachicola at some points, Water Road. Maybe you see some washouts in around Alligator Point. So nothing too major. Elsewhere in the limited areas, just some minor coastal erosion is what we're expecting. And the greatest threat for surge is going to be Sunday morning and into the afternoon. That's where tides will be running the highest. We may have higher than normal tides on either end of it, but that's where we would expect the impacts. So there's a high chance, 90%, that storms in the Western Caribbean are going to develop into a tropical cyclone in the next few days. Whether it's tropical or subtropical, it's not going to make a difference on the impacts that we feel locally, which will be heavy rain and some minor coastal flooding. When we're talking about the winds, in case anybody's wondering about that, there will be the potential, especially in the Panhandle, for gusts up to 35 miles an hour, but we're not expecting any sort of sustained tropical storm force winds, or really not any sort of tropical storm force winds and gusts frequently at this point. The main hazard, again, will be heavy rain, 5 to 7 inches on average, with some higher amounts possible, and the minor coastal flooding against Wakulla and Franklin counties. The main thing we want to let you know is that watches could start as early as tomorrow. It'd be most likely tomorrow night, unless something changes with this system. So be prepared for some watches to drop here after the close of business tomorrow or into the weekend. Okay, and with that, I can take any questions that you might have. It would be helpful if I unmuted your line, so I'm going to do that right now. Stand by.
The leader has unmuted your line. Yeah, hey, this
Okay,
is
I think you're unmuted, so go ahead.
Yeah, Jackson County.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just are y'all pretty confident this thing is not going to turn into something a little worse, or is it still looking it's just going to be the rain threat?
Yeah, right now it doesn't look like the conditions in the Gulf of Mexico even are that great for a rapid strengthening or anything like that. So at this point, we're expecting, a tropical storm at worst.
I'll figure it out later.
And with that, the heavy rain would be the main threat and the minor coastal flooding.
Okay, thank you.
So they did say in Panama City, obviously, because
Any other questions on the line?
Okay, this is Swanee County here.
On rain. Go ahead, Swanee County.
Yes, we have our graduation Saturday evening at 8 p.m. Would it benefit them to move that to the morning, do you think, with the forecast and the rain? It's supposed to be outside.
Stand by 1 second for Swanee.
Thank you.
Activated one right now.
Okay, Swanee County, we have about a 60 to 70% chance in the evening over there. We're not expecting the heaviest rain at that point in time, but you're going to have a much greater chance of having a dry event if you move it to the morning on Saturday.
Okay, great. That's what I'll let them know. Thank you.
Any other questions?
It's MCLB Albany.
Go ahead.
Hey, for the rain, that 5 to 7 inches, that is not including today and tomorrow, correct? That's just for the system itself?
It is. It is including. It's all the way up through, I think I have on the Thursday at that point. We're expecting on the order of 1 to 2 inches widespread averages over the next couple of days prior to the arrival of the system. The bulk of the rain in the shortest amount of time, that's what we're expecting starting Saturday night and into Sunday. The end of this event is still kind of uncertain as to how the system is going to move once it goes inland. It's possible it sits around for a while, and that's something we'll be monitoring and be briefing on in upcoming webinars. So those numbers could also go up. But like I said, some dry air. If we notice the dry air moving in on the back of the system, we could lower the numbers as well. But yeah, as far as when we're expecting that rain, that is a total from now through the event.
Wakulla County?
Go ahead, Wakulla County.
Yeah. Sorry I didn't get audio until a little late. If it turns into a tropical depression or tropical storm, where are you predicting it's going to get to?
Where are we predicting it's going to do
Where
what?
will it make landfall?
There's a window that's most probable at this time, and that ranges anywhere from, say, the New Orleans area, the mouth of the Mississippi, and then back eastward into the Panhandle. There are some outliers that bring it into Appalachia Bay, so really anywhere from the coast of Louisiana all the way back to Appalachia Bay, with the most likely area from the mouth of the Mississippi into the Panhandle of Florida.
Okay. And do we have a prediction on how high the surge will be yet?
Yeah, for coastal Wakulla, we're talking minor flooding, so right at that threshold, possibly of 3 feet inundation right at the coast. So just your minor impacts that you see down there. What was it? Riverside, St. Mark's Riverside Drive might get some water over it. Something like that. The magnitude we're expecting.
Okay. Thank you very much. And time on that will be Sunday?
For the surge, yes, the greatest surge will be Sunday.
And Taylor County here.
Go ahead.
Our surge will probably be less than what Wakulla is experiencing.
Yeah, much less. We're not expecting much down along the coast in Taylor County, except any sort of erosion you might get down there around the immediate coast, which we're not expecting much flooding to impact roadways or anything like that.
Okay, and our river that always floods, the Steenhatchee, it looked okay today. Do you expect a heavy impact there?